In a quiet village nestled between rolling hills and endless fields, there lived a boy named Aarav. He was not extraordinary in the ways people usually admire. He didn't win trophies, wasn't the top of his class, nor did he possess any dazzling talent. Aarav was what many would call average, but within him, hidden under layers of self-doubt and silent dreams, was a fire waiting to be kindled. Aarav was the son of a school teacher and a potter. His family was modest, and his parents worked long hours to ensure he got an education. They believed education was the ladder to a better life. But for Aarav, that ladder often seemed far too tall. He struggled in school. His grades hovered just above the pass mark. His teachers liked him for his humility, but they had little hope he'd ever achieve anything significant. His classmates rarely noticed him. He was quiet, reserved, and often lost in thought. One evening, after yet another disappointing math test, Aarav sat silently in his backyard. His father, who had just returned from the pottery shed, sat beside him. Without saying much, he handed Aarav a small, lopsided clay cup. Aarav looked at it, confused. "It's not perfect," his father said, "but I made it today." "But it's crooked," Aarav replied. His father nodded. "It is. But yesterday I couldn't shape a cup at all. Today it's crooked. Tomorrow, maybe it'll be less so." That one sentence hit Aarav like a bolt of lightning. Yesterday I couldn't. Today I can. Tomorrow I'll be better. That night, Aarav made a decision. He would stop trying to leap forward. Instead, he would walk, one tiny step at a time. The next morning, he made a list. Not of grand goals, but of small wins. Study math for 15 minutes. Ask one question in class. Read 2 pages of a science book. These tasks were so simple they almost felt ridiculous. But that was the point. On day 1, he ticked off every item. On day 2, the same. On day 3, he failed to complete them all. But instead of giving up, he started again. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months. The change was subtle. Aarav still wasn't topping his class, but his teachers noticed he was more engaged. He began scoring a little higher. When students had questions, they began to ask Aarav. He wasn't the brightest, but he explained concepts in ways others could understand. Because he had once struggled himself, he created a tiny wins journal where he logged every small success. Solved one difficult math problem. Spoke up in class. Woke up 10 minutes earlier to review notes. Each entry was like a drop in a bucket, alone, insignificant. Together, they began to overflow. One rainy afternoon, his science teacher, Ms. Rao, handed back a project they had worked on for weeks. Aarav stared at the grade, A+. It wasn't just the grade that made him emotional, it was the sticky note attached. Consistent effort beats raw talent. Keep going. Word of his transformation spread. His classmates began asking what had changed. Aarav smiled and shared his secret. Tiny wins. Soon, others followed his lead. His friend Kabir, who struggled with writing, began journaling for 10 minutes a day. Mira, who was terrified of public speaking, started recording herself reading poems. Reena, who wanted to get better at drawing, began sketching one small object each day. Aarav didn't become a celebrity or a genius. He became something far more powerful, a spark. He ignited change in others. Years passed. Aarav grew up and pursued teaching, just like his mother. He returned to his village as a teacher, standing in the same classrooms where he once felt invisible. And in every lesson he taught, he embedded the philosophy that changed his life. Success isn't a mountain you climb in one leap. It's a path paved by thousands of small, deliberate steps. His classroom walls were lined not with posters of famous people, but with charts showing students' daily tiny wins, colorful reminders that progress was in motion. One day, a student named Anika came to him in tears. "Sir, I can't do it. Math makes no sense. I try, but I fail every time." He smiled gently and pulled out a tiny clay cup from his drawer, the same one his father had given him years ago. "Anika," he said, "this is my most precious possession. Do you know why?" She shook her head. "Because it reminds me that imperfection is proof of effort. Every crooked curve says, 'I tried.' You don't need to be perfect. You just need to improve. One step at a time." She stared at the cup, wide-eyed. Aarav leaned in and handed her a blank notebook. "Write one tiny win every day, no matter how small." That notebook became her treasure. In time, Anika too began to grow. She never became the top student, but she became her best self. And in the end, that's what mattered most. Moral of the story: tiny wins are powerful because they do something miraculous. They build momentum. They build belief. And belief, when stacked day after day, becomes unshakable confidence. Students, educators, anyone watching this, remember this. It's not about how far you can go today. It's about whether you moved one step forward. And if you did, then you've already won. Because success isn't a sudden sunrise. It's the slow lighting of 1,000 tiny candles. Let the world chase lightning bolts. Be the steady flame and light the path, one tiny win at a time. Thank you for watching.